Leadership is something you have to show on a day in and day out basis, on the field and off the field. There's no days off. In practice and in games, through walks of life, if you're a real true leader, you have to show leadership at all times. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're gonna talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today we're gonna talk, OTAs is going on right now, and some reports coming out of OTAs is that the Texans have stumbled and possibly stumbled and come across a couple of leaders. Somebody who not only taking control of the offense and taking command of the offense, but showing leadership and trying to take control and command of the team. We're going to talk about it, we're going to break it down. But hey, if you're liking the content, make sure that you liking the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment on all the videos, liking all the videos, sharing all the videos, all the social media platforms, any social media platform you use, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever social media platform you use, make sure that you share on all those social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The links in the description below on all my social media. Links in the description below. We giving away 30 days free Amazon Prime. If you sign up to Amazon Prime, you get 30 days free. So trust me, you want to get your free. If you ain't got Amazon Prime, you want to get your free 30 days free. So sign up. The links in the description. Sign up. Get your 30 days free Amazon Prime. Also, follow me on all social media platforms. And let's share this video. Let's share this channel. Let's share these videos. Like I said, comment, subscribe, do all that good fine stuff. Now let's talk about it, because it seems like the Houston Texans maybe, possibly, who knows, might have stumbled across a leader. And that is second-year quarterback Davis Mills. From the reports coming out of OTAs, is that he's coming in and he seems a little bit different. He seems a little bit more in control, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more in command of the offense, a little bit more command of the team. He seems more confident. Now, is this because the Deshaun Watson situation is gone, because you trade Deshaun Watson, he's no longer there. He knows that Tyrod Taylor's not the person starting. He's coming into the season as the starter. You didn't draft a quarterback at all. You didn't bring anybody for AFC Watts outside of what's his name? Not Kyle. Yeah, Kyle Allen. Outside of Kyle Allen and Jeff Driscoll, who was already here, who didn't get any really run at quarterback last year. You had to move him to tight end, so he knows. He knows he's the number one guy on this. He knows he's the number one quarterback on the roster. He knows they're going in. He doesn't have any roadblocks, so it doesn't hurt his confidence, a lot of people say. So maybe that's why he's coming in to the OTAs, not with a chip on his shoulder, but a little bit more assertiveness, a little bit more like, I'm the guy. And I know I said this a couple times on my live streams. I said this in my other videos as well, but I'm going to say this right now, so for all the people loud in the back, that I'm going to reserve my opinion and my criticisms on Davis Mills. I'm going to give him to the bye week. I'm going to give him to the bye week. I'm going to give my assessment to the bye week. After the bye week, I will assess how I feel about Davis Mills going forward. Now, like I said, that does not mean I will do game breakdown. I will do a breakdown every game, and I will leave it in isolated incidents. So, for instance, if he goes out there and throws 4 interceptions, no touchdowns, and just have a horrific game, when I break down that game, I'm going to call him out on his mistakes. But I'm not going to be like, okay, well, he needs to be benched. I'm not going to do that. And vice versa. If he goes out there and throws 4 touchdowns, 450 yards, no turnovers, I'm not going to be like just, he's going to be the guy he's the franchise guy. I'm going to give it to the bye week. Once the bye week happens, like I said, that's week 6. So it's the first 5 weeks of the season. So you get the first 5 weeks plus the 11 games he played last year. I will give my full-fledged assessment then, and then the rest of the season will operate accordingly based off of the assessment. I'm going to give it to the bye week. I've been saying this for a while, that he, at the very least, has earned the right. He's earned the right to be the starter of this season. He earned the right to be the starter this season. You didn't need to go out there and draft a quarterback because the quarterback class was horrific. It was not a good quarterback class, and the draft has showed you that the first quarterback wasn't taken to pick 20, and then the next quarterback wasn't taken into the 3rd round. The last time we had a bad quarterback draft class was 2013. EJ Manuel was the first quarterback taken. I think he was taken 12th or 13th. That's just before 20. Then Geno Smith was the next quarterback took, and he was taken in the 2nd round. And I think Christian Hackenberg might have been. No, Christian Hackenberg wasn't in that draft. Was he? Was Christian Hackenberg in that draft? I can't remember if Christian Hackenberg. Actually, I think Christian Hackenberg might have been in that draft. I don't know, but it was other quarterbacks were taken in the 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken. This year, quarterback wasn't taken to pick 20. I don't remember when the last time, if that's ever happened, the first quarterback took it, and the first quarterback wasn't taken to pick 20, and then another quarterback wasn't taken until the third round. I'm thinking it had to be the first time in the NFL's history that that's happened, or at the very least within the last couple, like, in the last 20 to 30 years of that type of situation. So because of that, the NFL showed you that this year's draft class was not good. So you did not need to go out there and draft a quarterback. Same thing with via free agencies. You didn't need to go out there and trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. You didn't need to include Baker Mayfield in the Deshaun Watson trade. There was no reason to go get any of these other quarterbacks that were on the market. Now, you should. That's why I'm saying that Davis Mills at the very least has earned the right and earn the way to play and give you a full assessment to give him an actual legitimate shot. And what the Texans have done, they added some weapons. They drafted Michie, John Michie in the second round. You re-signed Brandon Cooks or gave Brandon Cooks a contract extension. Then you go out there and you draft Kenyon Green, the guard, the guard with the 15th pick in the draft. Lovie Smith has said that both Tyus Howard and Larry Tunsil are both going to be your right and your left tackle. From the reports coming in of OTAs, they're talking about Max Sharp, and he looks a completely different player. They say he came into this thing jacked up. He's big. He's lost weight. He's more so muscular than big, and that he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. That he looks like a better guy. So if he's better at the left tackle, if he's better at the left guard position, you have Larry Tunsil as your left tackle. You have Tyus Howard as your right guard, who was on the All Rookie team or was on the All Rookie team his rookie year, and then you have Kenyon Green, who you just drafted, who look like he's just a big guy. Like when you watch his tape, he's just a big, massive guy to be your right guard. Really, all you gotta do is worry about the center position. That right there is a better offensive line potentially than the offensive line you had last year. So will that help Davis Mills? Absolutely. Now we have to fix the running game because it was the worst running game in franchise history last year. If I'm not mistaken, I think they averaged 2.6 yards per carry last year. That's how bad this running game was. So a quarterback could not succeed with a running game that piss poor. I absolutely agree with that. So you drafted Dameon Pierce, you brought in Marlon Mack. You hear some reports about Marlon Mack looking good as well. Again, these are everybody right now is in shorts and t-shirts. Nobody's really playing football. They haven't started hitting yet. I can't wait till the actual practices start happening, the padded practices back when training camp happens. I'm not Tyus Howard, but Larry Tunsil hasn't been to camp yet, and I think it's more so of he's a veteran. He's already got paid. He's not trying to be OTAs. The people that's afraid about Larry Tunsil not want to be a Texan anymore. Remember, he renegotiated his contract a couple months ago. Then would tweet out the gift saying I'm not effing leaving or whatever it was. I'm not going anywhere, anything like that. I'm not too worried about Larry Tunsil. I'm not too worried about what's going on with Larry Tunsil up here. I just think he's a guy who just don't want to be a training camp. That's really what it is. Especially for a team that he knows that maybe if this team was coming off of the 2019 season, like say if this was say this is the 2019 Texas team, you lost in the divisional round or you lost in the AFC Championship game and you don't trade Hopkins and stuff like that, then it's different. I think he would be here. But because the team was picking fourth or picking third last year and more likely still going to be picking the top 10 this coming up season, I'm not going to go to OTAs. I'm going to go to OTAs for it. There's not, we're not, the best that we'll do will probably one of those teams that end up not making the playoffs by the last game of the season type situation. And that's the ceiling of this team. I don't think this team right here is going to be anywhere close to being a playoff team, let alone a team that's competing for actual championships. I'm not about to go out there I don't have to in OTAs. Now training camp, minicamp, training camp, stuff like that, that's different. I gotta be there. I ain't gotta be there for OTAs, so I ain't gonna be there. So I'm not really worried about Larry Tunsil not being there. But I want to see when these padded practices happen, when they start practicing against other teams. Hopefully we have joint practices against other teams. Obviously training camp and preseason and things like that. Because I want to see exactly how these pieces look and how does Davis Mills actually handle that. I want it because this is all going into the evaluation process, because it's not just watching week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, bye week, now have an assessment. It's not just that. I want to see everything in this totality. I want to see the training camps. I want to see the practices, the pad practices, the preseasons. I want to see how he handles certain things. How does he handle Pep offense? This is a new offense, kind of similar to the offense that he had last year, but still kind of different. I told you that if you look at the history of Pep's offense and what Pep likes to do, he likes to throw the ball downfield. He likes big, strong arm quarterbacks. Davis Mills really not a big, strong arm quarterback, so it kind of doesn't really fit. But I do think that Pep is smart enough to maybe try to make some things happen and make some things intertwine to see exactly what Davis Mills has. So Davis Mills has to come out here, to be honest with y'all, he has to come out here and he has to hit it at the park. He has to. I know a lot of people like, you just don't like Davis Mills. It's not the fact that I don't like Davis Mills. Up to this point, like I said, I don't see enough for him to be the guy. I'm going to give him an actual legitimate shot. Because, hey, contrary to what you believe, the best situation for the Texans is for Davis Mills to be the guy. If Davis Mills comes out there, looks the part, plays well, that means next year you don't have to draft a quarterback with the first round pick. You get 2 first-round picks, and it seems like things are going on in Cleveland with all these new cases and things going on about on Deshaun Watson. It's looking more and more and more like Deshaun Watson is not going to play many games this season, if any games this season. So that intensifies and makes that pick go from either being from 25 to 15 to a top 15 pick. Not to mention the pick that you have. And next year's draft is the draft to have multiple draft picks. Next year's draft is loaded full of talent. We talk about Willie Anderson. You talk about Bijan Robinson. You talk about all the talent, and not just quarterbacks, just all the talent. Kelly Ringo. All the talent that's in next year's draft. You want to have multiple draft picks. So the best situation for the Texans is that they don't have to draft a quarterback. They don't have to draft a quarterback, and they don't have to move up to get any of these players. That way you can get more people. I mean, instead of wasting a draft pick on drafting a quarterback, and then also drafting somebody on the defensive line, or drafting a linebacker, or drafting another defensive back, or drafting another offensive lineman or weapon or whatever. Instead of doing something like that, or instead of you got to package both of your picks to move up to go get said quarterback. Now with those 2 picks, you can draft another offensive lineman, and make sure your offensive line solidified. You draft another receiver and offensive lineman, or you draft another guy in the secondary and you draft a linebacker, things like that. Look like the Jets. Now, we know the Jets more than likely might have to end up moving on from Zach Wilson, but because they didn't have to draft a quarterback, they went out there and they got Sauce. They went out there and they got Wilson, and then they went out there and got Jameson. Like the Jets, to me, and then they backed on the second round and got Breece Hall. Like the Jets, to me, had the best draft out of any team. They had the best draft out of any team, and they were in position to do that because they had multiple draft picks and didn't have to wait and didn't have to draft a quarterback in that draft. Had multiple draft picks. That's what the Texans can be next year if Davis Mills ends up being the guy. You don't have to wait. You don't have to spend multiple draft picks on play. You don't have to spend you don't have to waste draft picks to get a quarterback. You can spend multiple draft picks and go throughout the rest of the draft and fill out more rosters. And then you also have another. You have another year in 2024. I mean 2024 draft. Where you have another span of multiple draft picks because of the Deshaun Watson trade. So because of that, this team can load up on talent. If Davis Mills turns out to be the guy, this team can load up on talent for the foreseeable future, and this team can really be a force to be reckoned with within the next 4 to 5 years, if that's the case, if not sooner, because they don't have to use it on the quarterback. So it's in the Texans' best interest for Davis Mills to be the guy. Do we think Davis Mills is the guy? Some of us, some people think that he is. Some people think he don't. I'm at the point right now, like I said, I want to see. I have an opinion, but because of I want to actually have a chance to evaluate full-fledged with all the noise away. No more Deshaun Watson. No more what the boy name is? Tyrod Taylor. No Tim Kelly offense. No David Culley. Whatever he's doing, like give him an actual legitimate shot to prove if he is or if he ain't capable. That's why, man. I'm going to let him act. I want to be proven right or wrong, and that I'm going to reserve my true opinion, my main opinion, until he actually plays. And I want to. I'm not gonna say give him a full season because he did play last year. So last year's assessment does go into it. I'm going to give him into the bye week. When the bye week gets here, I'm going to have my full-fledged assessment on how I feel about Davis Mills going forward, and I will move on that way accordingly. So we'll see what happens in the first 5 games. He plays great the first 5 games. He plays okay the first 5 games. He plays hot butter garbage the first 5 games. It depends on how he plays those first 5 games. When the bye week comes, I'm going to assess exactly how he is. But from the reports coming out of OTAs, it's looking like he's trying to take command. He's looked like a different guy, like he's taking more control from a control factor. Is what they're saying. Like he's a little bit more assertive, a little bit more like he's the guy. We know we've seen the tweet after Deshaun Watson was traded, time to go to work. So it seems like that Deshaun Watson situation was a cloud over him, which is kind of weird because it's not like he was a high draft pick. He was a 3rd-round pick. Now, I guess because I think he was a little bit more hyped and a little bit more under a magnifying glass because he was the Texans' official first pick because they didn't have a first or a 2nd-round pick. But no 3rd-round quarterback gets like a lot of fanfare like that. Now I know kind of what's going on with the Titans and Malik Willis, but they not like that in Atlanta over what the boy name is Ritter, and they don't have a quarterback because they just traded Matt Ryan. They got Mariota. They got Mariota, their starting quarterback. Same thing in Carolina with what the boy name is Matt Corral. Like no one else drafts quarterbacks in the 3rd round, and they like okay. I mean, we know yes, Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick and ended up being the guy. We know that Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick and ended up being the guy in Seattle, but not majority of the time when guys are taking the 3rd and the 4th round or whatever, they don't really become the guy, and it really doesn't serve any fanfare for them, really. More than more than often. So because of that, I think the Texas situation was different because of Deshaun Watson and because of that was the first official pick by not only the Texans that season, but also by Nick Caserio as a general manager. That's his very first pick ever, is Davis Mills. So I think that people, most of the fans, like to heighten that and advance that because, like I was saying, going into the offseason, that the fans act more like Davis Mills is the franchise guy more than the organization. And still, the franchise still has really yet to make it be known that this is the guy that we're full-fledged putting our cart behind, putting all the eggs in his basket. He's the full-fledged guy. I think they're on the wait-and-see basis as well. Now, they probably will give him the full season. There's not just going to be a bye week with them, but they're more so on the wait-and-see aspect as well. And that's why I said a couple of videos ago that this season here, the goal is not to win. Winning is key. Yes, they would like to win, but it is more so of evaluating and progressing. That's what it is. They want to evaluate and develop. That's what it is. Evaluation and development. They want to evaluate talent and they want to develop talent. That's what these next couple of seasons are going to be. And Davis Mills goes to the forefront that he's probably numero uno in the evaluation and development process of this, because if Davis Mills does become the guy, that opens up a lot of things which you could do with this draft capital for the next couple of years. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.